Tour.
It's Friday night. Roadies Unite with the two Brians on Tottenham On Tour. Really, really excited to be with you guys tonight. It's we got a lot to talk about. I'm going to bring in, of course, the other Brian. We're here together again,
reunited, and it feels so good. So yeah, it does.
It does, right?
It feels
it's good stuff.
Fantastic.
It's good stuff. I missed him when he was back in the UK. Of course, he did a lot while he was there, and it was a great trip for him, a great trip for Spurs and for Spurs fan base, and just across the board, really good stuff. We've got a lot to talk about tonight.
We do indeed.
It's been a busy week. We've got some cool things on the go. Let's start with what I think is probably one of the bigger things that we're going to talk about tonight, and that is we have started a partnership with Odera. How do we say it?
Odera e Facere.
Odera Facere, I think is how you're supposed to say it. Like based on based on what we saw on the interweb. It is a Facebook group run by Daryl and Elaine, who are wonderful people who we've teamed up with to help their channel or to help their group and to help our channel and to kind of like just put those things together. We're going to be doing a regular podcast with them once a month on the first Monday of every month, starting on December 6th. So we'll have them on for the first one, and then it's going to be exclusive to the members of that group to come on, not to listen. Of course, it'll be open to anybody who wants to watch or listen. And that's really cool.
It's fantastic. I mean, the way this has come about as well, let's tell the story.
You go.
We did a stream. I think it was either after one of the protests or one of the streams that you and I did when I was in London. And obviously you mentioned this group and you said you'll send me the invite.
Yeah, I've been a member for a long time, and I'd always loved the group. Daryl's hilarious. And
well, I believe Daryl unbanned me, but I think he banned me because they used to be very pro-Levy.
They did.
And funnily enough, I think I got banned from saying something quite the opposite. But anyway, you mentioned Daryl, and then he put on the group, look at this, we've been mentioned in a positive way. Then we got very active within the group. Then they came on, and they do a lot of stuff. I mean, Daryl does a thing for the group during COVID where he does a playlist.
Spotify playlist. It's every day he does a Spotify playlist based on what the members want to hear, and they give them
exactly. And they put in a lot of effort and a lot of time, especially during COVID. So every Monday. Every first Monday of the month to begin with, we're going to do a stream exclusive for their guests and their group to join in. So it's very, very exciting because they've got 17,000 members. Yeah,
there's a lot of members on there, and they're members who are like proper Spurs fans. I mean, it's diehard Spurs fans, and of course they are as well. And it's a pleasure to be a part of what they're doing, and looking forward to that partnership. So look for that show that we're going to be doing on the first Monday of every month. And then, of course, I
recommend you join the group as well. It's just Odera Facere. Their banner at the moment is something that says "Come on, you Spurs," COYS, and it's a view of the top of the new stadium. So go on and check them out because they're fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Daryl and Elaine will both let you guys in and enjoy it because it's a great group. They're a lot of fun with a lot of great people who are of similar mind, I would say. I do want to mention now, we have, I just want to shout out to Tara Hancock. This is, an important thing to discuss. We're very pro mental health at Tottenham On Tour. We did on our previous channel, Tottenham Away, we did a special on May the 4th be with you, where we discuss specifically about mental health. We are going to continue that eventually, sort of probably just after Christmas in January. We're going to do a show, and Tara hopefully will join us. I think we spoke to her earlier. She said she will. She's a part of something incredibly important called Sports Against Suicide, SAS for short. So on Facebook, I recommend everybody go and check that out and follow that page and watch what she's doing. Sports Against Suicide provides a charitable service working with sports academies, delivering support and education on mental health awareness, emotional resilience, and suicide prevention to young adults and staff. Incredible resource that I think everybody should, if we all struggle with different things, and I think it's an incredibly important thing to be a part of, one way or the other, whether you're struggling with mental health or people who are. It's a resource that is it's incredibly valuable, and everybody should do what they can to help out and to be a part of that conversation.
Well, I mean, supporting Spurs is mental health awareness enough. I mean,
yeah, that's true, right?
What they do to us, but as Brian said, mental health is something very near to our and dear to our hearts, and something very, very important, especially in today's world with everything going on. So yeah, give them a like, give them a help. What a fantastic organization!
Yeah, thank you, Tara, for that as well, and we're looking forward to having that chat with you, because I think it'll be extremely great, really important and great conversation, something we need to be having. We've got some great people in the comments, of course. Before we bring on our special guests, because we have some very special guests with us, but just going to go through some of the people. Lockman, Eugene, good to see you, buddy. Mark Swift, pleasure. Chris Agamar, Bobby K, Ricky Villa, who's actually going to be on the channel in a second.
In 2 places at once.
Yeah, Paul Brown, he's magical, that Ricky Villa guy. Magical suits Ricky Villa. Wayne Bonner's with us as well. Wayne, what's up, buddy? Talking Tottenham TV is here.
What's up, Jamie?
Girl 58.
No, that's GRL 58.
Sorry,
that's Graham, who was at the protest with me.
Sorry.
Big up, Graham.
What's up, Graham? Alexander Hilton. We've got Ryan McFarlane. Carl Simpson. THFC Kirst is with us as well. What's up, Kirst? Good to see you. It's been a bit. Good to see you here with us. Thanks for being here.
And big up the We Are Tottenham TV boys that are in this that are watching. Shabbat shalom to you both.
Yeah, Shabbat shalom. Of course, the sort of the dawns of what we do on YouTube, they've sort of created the space to some extent, and many of us have followed, and they're just two of the loveliest people you'll meet. So shout out to those guys. Thanks for doing everything you've done, and obviously allowing us to be a part of it as well. I do think it's now time to bring in our guests, right?
It is.
This is an evening with the Shelf Side Spurs. We're lucky enough to have the one and only Johnny from Shelf Side Spurs. We got Rez, and of course we got Ricky Villa, who I don't think that's his actual name, and I know you know it, and
I know it.
And I'm sorry I don't, Rez.
Jens.
I kind of knew it. We've been on your channel before. I've been on your channel before, and it was an absolute pleasure. Welcome to Tottenham On Tour. Johnny, I'll start with you, mate. How you doing? Good to have you on.
Yeah, I'm all good. Thanks for inviting me on. Yeah, I was going to have a nice peaceful night here, but Brian's twisted my arm into.
We ruined it for you. Sorry.
It didn't take much, did it, Brian? I did swear when I said, "Yeah, fuck it."
No, for fuck's sakes, we're not even 10 minutes in yet, Johnny.
Do you know what? The fact there wasn't this one, we get away with, because he normally has done it by now.
Oh yeah, it's surprising. I'm usually the one who just like swears out of the gate. So, but yeah, Johnny, pleasure to have you.
Johnny. My bad. Sorry.
All good, mate. All good. Rez, thanks for coming on, brother. How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, pretty good. Thanks very much for having me on.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And Yen, is that it? Jens? I apologize, Jens. I will get it right.
No worries.
Welcome to the channel. Great to have you on. How you doing? You all right?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm marvelous. Cheers.
Excellent. Lots to talk about. Of course, it is international break, which is fucking annoying, really. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah.
It's not Spurs related. Of course, some of it Spurs related, and what we're gonna start with Harry Kane's his performance this evening. He had a hat trick of what do they call it?
The
perfect hat trick of left foot, right foot header tonight versus Albania, which is maybe not necessarily the best competition, but he still did it. And it does, I think, and Brian and I spoke about this a bit as well, and I'll get his opinion, but I of course want all of yours as well. He needed this, right? He needed a moment where he could just kind of release and score and, get service, which he's clearly been missing. I'll start with you, Johnny. Did you watch it, and did you, or at least see the highlights to see Harry Kane kind of doing what Harry Kane used to do, at least for Spurs?
I did. Glutton for punishment. I worked out the other day that I've watched every England game since 1986, the World Cup. So it's quite hard. It's quite hard to get through them sometimes, isn't it? But I always habitually end up watching it. But yeah, it was a good hat trick from him. He looked like he was playing with a bit of freedom. He'd had his sort of say in the press in the weekend about his brother and the stick he'd gotten, and I'm sure we'll get onto that later with him saying that he thinks he handled the situation in the summer very well. But tonight the goals, good goals, weren't they? Perfect hat trick. And in our group, I was getting irate because I love to punch Lee Dixon in the face. He's such a wanker, isn't he? I don't know if you guys got the stream, the commentary over there.
Just over 10 minutes.
But when he was going off, guys, he said they were showing his goals, and Lee Dixon said something like, "Oh, the third one, it was deflected, but I guess we'll give it to him." I was like, for fuck's sake, man. It was an overhead flying.
It was an incredible goal despite the deflection, right?
And you could tell in his voice he was just gutted that Harry had got 3 goals. And just, man.
Yeah.
It rolled me up a bit. That's one of the reasons I wanted to come on here and
do a little bit of a rant
a bit.
Yourself, Johnny, right?
And then Roy Keane dug us out before the game as well. I don't know if you've heard it. You had that on your he said, I don't know why Harry's so surprised that he should be used to dealing with disappointment because he plays for Spurs and they never win any trophies. He said that before the game.
Fair comment.
Mugged us right off, yeah.
Fair comment, unfortunately.
They said he should be used to dealing with disappointments by now.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. Just painful. Rez, thoughts on Harry Kane? And just quickly, what do you think? How do you think it's going to affect his Spurs performance? Because I think like Brian and I spoke about it, right? Yeah. We were talking about like the difference. Of course, he's lacking in confidence right now, and his just form is kind of shit. And you're hoping he's going to do more than he's doing. Does this help him? Do you think he comes back to Spurs and he scores 3 goals against Albania? Of course, it's Albania, but they're 3 good goals. Do we see that Harry Kane kind of coming back into form?
Well, I think so. I mean, the thing that has kept Kane performing for so long, I think, is his own self-confidence.
Yeah.
And his hard work and application, obviously, is another thing. But the hard work is always there because he's got that work ethic. Whereas the confidence, I don't think he's really suffered a real knock to his confidence for ever, really. I mean, obviously he's lost sort of important games, as we all have, but I'm not sure he's ever sort of faced the adversity, and that's not me sort of sympathizing with him necessarily over his adversity and not getting his move to Man City, but just from a pure personal perspective, he will have been disappointed and he will have knocked his confidence. So maybe there are other issues that have sort of stopped him from scoring quite as many as well, which are outside of his control. Hopefully we're going to see those addressed under the new management. So yeah, I think we could. It won't do his confidence any harm scoring a hat-trick like that. So yeah, it's like everything with Spurs right now. It really is wait and see.
Right. It's an up in the air situation.
It's very difficult to draw any concrete conclusions about anything Spurs related right now, if we're being honest. So we'll see against Leeds, I hope.
Other than we got this guy right here is our man.
Yeah,
Jens, what are your thoughts on Harry Kane's performance tonight, and how it will affect his performance at Spurs when he comes back?
Yeah, well, as Rez said, I'm hoping that it's going to increase his confidence. A lot of the problems that he has had recently, I think, is his service. We're not getting the ball to him enough, and also he's dropping back too much. What I saw in the last game, he actually stayed forward a little bit more, so I think that bodes well. It's Albania. They're actually not a bad side, but still,
they aren't
to get a hat-trick, a perfect hat-trick. No, they actually are. Well, I'm not sure if Mkhitaryan. No, it's not. That's Armenia, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah.
But I think we had I'm originally from Denmark, so I followed the Danes, and we had them in our group a couple of seasons ago, and they were quite a well-organised, decent defensive team who could hit you on the break. So there's no easy games in international football anymore. Maybe San Marino and Andorra.
I was going to say there are a couple, but
even the Faroe Islands. They actually played well against Denmark.
Well, they want to show the parent country what they can do.
Sorry,
they want to show the parent country what they can do.
That's it, right?
Not anymore. You're not going to say that to a Faroese bloke, I'll tell you that much.
Brian, what are your thoughts on Harry Kane and how it will affect his performance at Spurs when he comes back?
So the way I see it, let's face it, first of all, Harry Kane's gone to England, and first of all, he's not dreading being taken the piss out of and saying Nuno and the 9th choice manager. He's gone there now. with knowing Antonio Conte is in charge. So that's a huge thing, and he probably needed San Marino. I've done that again. San Marino and Albania. Now, whenever I hear England play Albania, I only think of one thing, and it's Paul Gascoigne's first goal as an England player is against Albania. Now, if he wanted 2 games to smash in some goals, get his confidence up, and go for Rooney's record that we know he's going to smash anyway, it would have been these 2. And
it's good for Spurs in that
it's
sense,
good,
right?
exactly. He's now become joint 4th with Jimmy Greaves as all-time England goal scorer. He's only 9 behind Rooney. He's 4 behind Lineker, 5 behind Charlton, and then it's Rooney. So hopefully he'll get a start in San Marino. There we go.
There you go. Got it right that time.
So
just Dan Marino and take the D away.
That's probably why I keep saying. So yeah, I mean, let's not, as everyone said, it is Albania and it is at home. He should be scoring hat tricks.
Yeah, he did what he's supposed to do, arguably, right?
Yeah, but he stayed in the box, like Conte has said,
and he got service.
He needs to stay in the box or the width of the goal and not come deep. So listen, you can't, whether he scored a hat trick against Albania or Chelsea, he scored a hat trick, which is only going to be good for his confidence. It's a long road back. And hopefully, because Conte has been given we'll talk about the fitness and everything, all the England players or internationals a fitness workout to do whilst they're away. Hopefully we'll see a better Harry Kane.
We're going to get into that fitness conversation. I think that's going to be a little bit later on, but it's a massive one. I think
it's huge
because it seems to be a problem, and it seems to.
Well, his last England game, he was pathetic. He was so bad, but this is hopefully what's in store for Tottenham.
He actually set a record tonight for England. He became the all-time leading goal scorer in competitive games. He went ahead of Rooney on that front.
Oh, he did.
If you take away friendlies, he's now England's all-time top goal scorer in competitive games. So he went ahead of Rooney.
There you go.
We've spoken about that before, haven't we? How many goals Rooney scored in?
You know, Rooney's only got 1 goal in World Cups and Euros.
No, he's got 2.
Goal.
2, isn't it?
He's got in his last.
And Kane was on like 11 now, 11 or 12, and Kane's got 11 or 12.
It's shit in comparison.
Exactly. It's another record for the record breaker. Let's face it, this guy does smash records on a regular basis, and hopefully he'll be back banging them in for Tottenham now.
Yeah, I think the key will be the system and how it relates to him getting him the ball, right? Like there's from my perspective, there's a player missing, and that's that sort of creative midfielder, that 10, or depending on the system, if we're playing a 3-5-2 in the 3 in that midfield, who's going to be the one that gets him the ball and that gets into that final third with a quality ball. Like, we're missing that clearly. You no shots on goal and however many minutes says everything. We're just not getting into the positions that would give him an opportunity to do what he's good at, which is just those clinical finishes in the final third. And we're desperate for that. So is there a player in the squad that can do that, or do we have to go and find it? And that will be determined over the next couple of months before Christmas in January, when we'll see what happens. I mean, I certainly hope so. It sucks because we've got 2 of the best forwards in world football, and they're both struggling with service and not getting the opportunities that they should be, and that sucks. And so that's what Conte, I think, is his biggest duty or job, is to get that to happen.
Be interesting to see if Brian Hill went away with Spain, because he got called up to the full team last time. He's obviously had that injury, so maybe he didn't get called up. So maybe 2 weeks with Conte, and then Conte to see what he can do. It might be a good opportunity for him.
Yeah, I wonder if Hill gets in the conversation for that creative midfielder position. You've got the 3 in the mid. Is he at the top end of that? Is it Tanguy and Ndombele, who's an argument that would be in that position as well? Lots of conversations. We'll get into formation eventually, but I want to talk about, or we want to talk about who do you guys think about? I'll start with you, Jens. Who do you think benefits the most from Conte coming in, from their outside? Like, if you're talking about Winks or Dele or all these other players who haven't been able to get into the first team,
even who have,
or who have, like, who's going to just generally benefit
exactly
from Conte coming in the most? If you're gonna rate that, what would you say?
I think it would probably be Kane.
Yeah,
because just like when Mourinho came in, he had a manager that he could trust. or a manager that he knows or has been successful. Obviously, it didn't work out with Mourinho, but Conte is he the most successful manager in the last few years?
He really is, yeah.
And he knows what he wants. He doesn't mess about. Nuno was a bit of a damp squib, and I think nobody really, you can see by the lack of any posts on social media saying thanks Nuno, bye, from any of the players, which I don't know if there were any for Mourinho, but
I think there were a couple, but it was still minimal. But yeah, it was
you just got to look what he did with Lukaku.
Yeah,
Lukaku, who, all right, he's always going to score goals wherever he was. He's a different animal now. He is a completely
changed him for sure.
Even his build, his physique, he's now a machine. It's incredible.
That was something to do with his. Didn't he bring back a dietitian or something?
That's what I heard. They established quite soon after that he had a gut issue or something like that. So they changed his diet to reflect that, and then there you go. I mean,
the gut thing was making him sluggish. That was the thing.
That's what happens when you eat a fried breakfast every day.
Yeah.
They've removed mayonnaise and ketchup now, so we should see some. We should see some changes.
It was only one part of his diet that they changed, and rather than irritating his digestive system and making him tired and lacking energy, it just basically fixed him, and then he developed him even more, and he turned into nothing more than a machine. I mean, it really is. For Inter, he was lethal.
He was incredible. Yeah,
lethal.
Yeah, and I think the system, when it comes down to what Conte is going to do and what he has done in every club he's gone to, is his system and getting everybody to believe in it, and then their response is what we desperately need as a club and as a team, as a unit, as an 11. It's going to be incredibly exciting to watch, I think, because he's done it everywhere he's gone. There's no reason to think he's not going to do it this time. Oh, it's Spurs, never mind. The players aren't good enough. At Chelsea, when he did that, they finished 10th the season prior. He went to he went there and they won the league the next season.
Yep.
Yeah. Because he made players he makes players better, and that's the thing that Jose Mourinho didn't do, and Nuno was not going to do either. Those are two managers that aren't player managers. They don't make players better. They sort of have a system. They try to do a thing, and they try to make it work in whatever way they can. Antonio Conte goes, here's what I got. I'm going to make this group of players better than they're going to be. So it's an exciting situation.
Jens, we'll go around and do one player each. Jens, not Jens, we've done Jens. Rez, who would you pick? One player that you think is going to thrive the most? I'm hoping no one says mine.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your thoughts on that.
I'm hoping
Brian's like, don't
say his, Rez. Say his, Rez. Go on, Rez. Say his. You're his lawyer. Come on.
You'll know if you do. Trust me.
If he can get his application right, and Ndombele.
Okay.
Because if he can get that, I'm not saying attitude in a pejorative way in terms of saying he's got a bad attitude, but if he can get his focus,
I was just going to say focus is key, isn't it, Rez?
Yeah, then I think that Conte can turn Ndombele into a top bracket world class player, because he's got the potential, he's got the ability to be that. What he hasn't got is either the drive or the ability to tap into it consistently. If Conte can unlock that, I basically said on another stream, I said, if only there was someone that had the key to unlock Ndombele's full potential.
It's Conte, isn't it?
If there's any manager who's got that key, it'll be Conte. If he doesn't have it, no one does.
You know what I thought,
that's
Rez?
Exactly right.
I actually thought when we announced that we'd signed the psychologist, I thought that was the person, if it's done right, because I actually think it's more a mental thing as opposed to a fitness or whatever. And if we can unlock that key to establish whatever that issue may be, but I think with Conte as well, it could be, because also he's raved about him as well. So that'll do.
Yeah, he wanted him at Inter, right? That was there was a point where that was the case. Right?
He's raved about it. So now, Johnny, your turn. So please don't say my guy.
I know who you're going to say, Brian. So I'm going to go for someone else.
I love that.
I'm going to go for Tanganga.
Okay,
because
that's a good shout.
The way Conte's system set up, I think I put the link on one of our WhatsApp groups.
That right side of the three, right?
Yeah, that right side of three. He
likes. He
likes quick centre. He likes centre backs that can play a fullback, and they're used to playing in fullback areas and quick ones that can cover that space if the ball does get played into there. So I think this system's made for Tanganga to shine, to be honest. So hopefully he takes his chance in these next 2 weeks to impress Conte and get him in that team. You're going to say Ben Davies, aren't you, Brian?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't going to say your
Davies didn't come in there.
I wasn't going to say your player. Go on, you go.
No. Oh, well, no, you go first. I
want to see if you say it. Go on.
No, yeah, it's your fucking choice. Go.
So you were close positionally wise, Johnny. It isn't Davies. It's Reguilon.
Oh, Reguilon. Okay.
I think Reguilon has now got a manager who wants to play attacking football and get the best out of him. And if you look at it, even you look at Hakimi, what he did to Hakimi, fullbacks play a huge role in what he does. And if you look at what he did to Victor Moses, who wasn't even a right wing back and hasn't got the pace of Reguilon, the attributes of Reguilon, and excuse me, and see what he did there. And then Ashley Young, when he brought him to Inter, I honestly think that we saw Sergio Reguilon at the beginning when he was on fire, assists for Bow and Lamella in Chelsea and Brighton, and he has been. I mean, let's face it, against Everton, he was appalling. On Sunday, but I honestly think Sergio Reguilon is going to be one of the hottest prospects.
It's going to help him. I think the three at the back with wing backs. Period. Whether you're playing a 3-4-3 or 3-5-2 or 3-5-1-2 or whatever the system is, he's playing three at the back. He's going to rely on those wing backs to get forward. And Reguilon, that's his game, right?
Exactly.
That's how he plays. That's what you want to see. I think the player that's going to be most affected in the most positive way.
By your smile, what you're going to say?
Oliver Skip.
Oh no, I thought you were going to say wings.
No, fuck wings.
Whatever floats your boat, bro.
So Oliver Skip has already been one of the best players for Spurs this season. Like, he's already been great. What you're going to see for a player who needs that, like, a little bit more direction from a manager who knows, like, this, I get the best out of a midfielder. I think I almost said it. I think Oliver Skip is going to be benefited the most. He already got better in 2 games that he played under Conte, and he's a really intelligent footballer. He understands direction, and I just think Skip is going to become incredible, world-class midfielder under Conte. It's going to be really, really fun to watch. And again, of course, one of our own. I'm excited about that.
Well, no, I mean, I have to say as well, and I didn't get to comment on it, is Johnny's. I love Tanganga. I think he's brilliant. And I honestly think that position, when we first got him, I thought Tanganga starts immediately because he is that good. And that position being at the right of a back three, I think
suits him. I think
the role was actually made for him. I was like, that is the perfect, because like you said, he can play as a fullback. And if Royale is caught napping, he can obviously shift and do that cover. I think the role is completely made for him. Him, Romero, Dyer at the moment, but when we go into January, we know we need a centre back, but I don't think at the moment we got enough centre backs. We need a striker and an attacking midfielder.
We need a creative midfielder the most.
We shouldn't forget the likes of Joe Rodon either. We shouldn't forget the likes of Joe Rodon. We never, he.
What do you think, Russ? Do you think Joe Rodon gets a shout under Conte? Do you think that he's going to get a chance? Or
well, this is the weird thing about Joe Rodon is that he was getting game time towards the end of Mourinho's tenure.
Our best defender at the end of Mourinho.
He was,
he was doing fine, and then Ryan dropped him for experience, and since then we've not seen him. Except for Wales.
Question for you all though, but there's got to be. You got to start thinking. I mean, all right, we wanted Skriniar, we got Rodon. That we all know that. But there's now 4 managers. And I think I heard it on the cheese room just earlier. Since we signed him, Rodon has played 19 times for Wales.
Yeah.
He's played 12 times for Tottenham.
Yeah.
And it's like there's 4 managers.
He's been here. How long has he been with us?
He's been here a year and had 4 managers.
Wow. That's
just over. He came on in the August window last year.
It's been like Watford.
Yeah. He's had 4 managers now. Yeah. I like him. All right, he's made a couple of mistakes, which you're going to do
he's
at
young,
that
though,
age.
right? He's young.
Yeah.
But he learns from them, and he's like Michael Dawson, that he'll just put his body on the line and whatever.
Yeah.
He's also really vocal. Like he's
I don't
involved.
think,
you want that as a center half. Like you want to see players come in and say and do talk. Like we're involved here. We're all having communication in that part of the pitch. On that part of the pitch, defensively, it's so important to have communication. Like to have somebody who's speaking.
I think
you need it, and he's good at it.
I think what Joe Rodon might have suffered from is a little bit of fractiousness, because you see, we were seeing Dyer and Sanchez make mistake after mistake after mistake under Mourinho, and that brittleness in the defense. And then he would come in and he would be shouting at his centre-back partner. And he's very new. He's only just come into this squad, and there may have been a little bit of, what's this guy doing? He's only been here a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Which might have soured him. He allegedly has, as you say, Brian, he's vocal, but not just on the pitch. He's someone who will not keep his thoughts to himself.
I like that.
I
need that at Spurs.
Yeah,
that's it. Wells play a back three as well.
He said when he came in, like, this defense isn't good enough. It's a joke. I can do better.
Yeah.
Like he was cocky. I love that. I want to see that.
And I think that Conte would like that.
Yeah,
he will like a self-confident player. It's just right now, I don't think Conte has the luxury of necessarily picking him.
Yeah.
But he might in the future, because
I think Conte right now is just doing whatever is good enough to get through the games that he was put into before the international break. It was like, I'm going to pick the same side because that's the easy thing to do. It's smart, right? And I get that. It makes a lot of sense.
Does he play centre back? Does he play centre back with Davis?
Yeah, that's what he does for Wales. He plays in a back three.
Yeah.
And the thing, what you got to look at as well with Conte, what he's doing in this 2 weeks as well, isn't just obviously the strict training. He's looking, what games have I got till January, and how do I manage this team, because there's no depth. So there's no doubt in my mind, come the Christmas period, he's going to have to play Rodon in some games, because he cannot.
He's got to use the depth a little bit.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
He's got to use it until we address certain situations. So I think it's the case. He's got certain games like Liverpool and Leicester where he knows, right, this is my team. I've got to keep my team, my nucleus of this team fit for those games. Yeah. But we've got Norwich's, and we've got Leeds, and we've got Burnley.
Got a pretty good run of games coming up. I think
we've got a nice little run of games. So hopefully he can experiment. Then you got the Carabao Cup, and then in January you got the FA Cup. So I think his time will come, but it's just a case of when do I do it?
Yeah, I think this international break has come at a good time. You know, it's almost like he gets a couple of weeks to sort some things out that are required to get us to, to understand the players he has, of course, that aren't internationals. What's the depth of the squad? Who do I have that can play in these positions that aren't necessarily the ones I expected to be the ones that would play in those positions? So it's going to be interesting to see what he does and how the team responds.
He will also get data
for sure.
from the national teams on the players that are on international duty as well. It's not necessarily the same as being able to observe them directly and have the data from the training sessions there. But they do share that with the various clubs, when the players return. So, right, these are the guys' figures. So he'll have plenty of information, plenty of sort of data to crunch, both visual and sort of statistical. So it is a good opportunity. It is a good opportunity.
Well, the good thing is as well, and Johnny and Jens will come to you, this international break, a lot of people were saying, do you know what? Why have the international break now when we've just got Conte? I mean, for me, it's brilliant because he's got a mini pre-season.
Yeah.
And as I said on a stream earlier, the way I look at it, what he's got with these players that aren't on international duty, when we all work in our jobs and we go for our regular jobs, the disciplinary process is obviously a verbal, a warning, a written warning, final written warning, out the door. Well, this 2 weeks isn't just getting the fitness up and doing whatever. He's watching everything off the training pitch while they're in the training ground. And he's soon to identify which guys are on their final written warning and which ones are out.
Yeah, where are they at? Like, how committed are they?
Exactly. Jens, we'll come to you first, then we'll go to Johnny. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm still here, by the way. I'm just camera off. Sorry, I'm not disagreeing.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So with this, I feel like I'm on some kind of game show there. It's Mastermind. Okay, so with this 2-week period, obviously, and Conte having it, some people have been saying, they're really pissed off because we got Conte now. Why we got this break?
Oh, right, okay.
I just wish, but I look at it on the way that he's got this 2 weeks for like a mini pre-season, because we can see from the stats, although we said we thought we were fitter under Nuno than we looked under Jose. When you look at it and say 20th in running, 20th in
stats are damning.
Yeah. So are you happy that we've had this 2-week break where, all right, it's a depleted squad because international duty, but would you rather have just carried on, or do you think this international break has been the world of good?
Yeah, I think I might have to get some splinters and sit on the fence on that one, because
it doesn't help our fucking show, mate.
No, I know. Language.
Sorry, guys. I'm just having a laugh.
No, I think in some ways it's great for the backup players, because they've got 2 weeks of solid graft and getting to know what the manager actually wants to play in the system that he wants. But in other ways, it would have been so much better if all of the players had been there. And I know they wouldn't have had 2 weeks of solid training, but it's they would be, they'd have a game and then they train. And so I think I'm leaning towards I would have preferred the international break to be at some other point, because then again, you look at Kane, he scored a hat-trick. So
it's a part of it is a momentum thing too, right? Like you bring in a manager and you want that momentum to kind of seep into the squad and get them all kind of like on the same page. But you also have an opportunity with this situation, despite them go, what is it, 15 players, I think, 15 players on international duty. He's given them all regiments to train for their whether they do it or not, I don't know. Like, who's to say they're going to respond? But
they've been told, be sat on a beach, that.
Yeah. But they've been told like, you're going to go away. You need to do this as well as the training you're doing for the country, which I think is great.
It's interesting with the one of the youngsters who I've heard of before, but I haven't seen him anywhere near the first team. A guy called, I think, is Demi Lusalo. He's been training with the first team this week. So it's Lavinia is back training with the first team. Good. I haven't seen him in I don't know how long.
Conte's just checking some shit out, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a positive, but also there is a negative that not all of the squad is there. So that's a difficult question, and I'll take a plea, please, Bob.
Johnny, what's your thoughts, buddy?
It's a good opportunity for him, because even though he's probably been keeping half an eye on our games after getting offered the job in the summer, he's probably been watching the Premiership, but he won't have been watching our games as closely as obviously we have. It'll be a good opportunity for him to analyse our games so far this season, to see where we've been going wrong, what we need to do better. He's got all his statistical data, like you said. He'll be able to see who's been running, who hasn't been running. Obviously, the players he's been picking, they're the ones he probably knew before he came into the club. So he knows all about your Kanes and your Sons. He knows all their qualities, doesn't he? So he knows what he's going to get out of them. So it's a good opportunity for him to look at the players he doesn't know, and to sort of analyse our games so far this season, to find out where we've been going wrong, maybe going back into last season to find out where the issues were with Mourinho. I think the big difference between Mourinho and Conte, that they always say about Mourinho, he makes good players great, doesn't he? But he can't make average players better. Whereas Conte, like you said with Victor Moses and Ashley Young, he's good at sort of making average players good, isn't he? So
that's what he does, right?
That's the advantage he's got over Mourinho. Obviously, and he's still younger and hungrier than Mourinho as well. So I think it's come at a good time for him, because it's a bit of a whirlwind, wasn't he? He got offered the job, and then like 2 days later he had the Europa Conference League game, and then 2 days later he had the next league game against Everton. So it's good. It's a good time for him to settle in, sort out his housing situation. Obviously his family's moving over and everything. It's good for him to get settled that way, and to get to know the club, get to know the players in and around the place. The other staff members of the club. It's good for him to settle in. And I wonder if he was at Wembley tonight watching England, or whether he was watching one of the other international games obviously Denmark.
I hope he wasn't watching the Italy game.
You'd think he'd have an eye on Kane. I would
penalty.
imagine. You'd think he'd have an eye on Harry Kane because of the form and the situation with our lack of goals and lack of chances created and shots on goal. I would imagine from if I was managing, I'd be like, what's the difference and what's his attitude and what are we seeing from Harry Kane? Because a hat trick, despite it being against Albania, that bodes well, I think, from a Conte position. He's looking at it going, okay.
It does.
Like there's something there that we need to address.
He'll have access to videos of all of those games as well.
Yeah,
from the various federations. He'll think. I mean, I think the international break sucks. I hate it with a passion.
So fucking annoying.
Especially now that because I'm boycotting Qatar 2022.
Are you?
I'm not even watching the qualifiers. So
Rez, I'm struggling with that. I was in the same boat as you, but I'm like still find myself watching it anyway because I can't.
I can't.
I get you, and for good reason.
I'm loving it. The Danes have got the best team in years.
But because of that, the international break on a personal level, I hate it even more than I usually do, and I really do despise them.
Levels of hate.
But the issue here, I mean, I think this international break has been an absolute godsend for him.
And timing is good, I think.
Yeah, and I think that the reason that we played the same team for Vitesse and Everton is that I think he was marking time, just waiting for the international break. If I'm being honest.
So I just want to say a big shout out to this guy, Bobby, and his kids. So basically, Bobby is he is like a brother to me. We met through Toronto Spurs.
Sorry, Bobby.
So we met at the Scotland Yard, and his two kids. I'm very close with him, his wife, and his two kids. And his youngest kid actually calls me F-man whenever he introduced me to friends or anything, because all he hears me at the Scotland Yard is say, fuck this, fuck that, fuck this.
That sounds right.
So he actually calls me the F-man. So there you go, Bobby, and it's always good to see you.
Oh, that's why
I'm a bit worried about this Scotland Yard thing. Have you been getting nicked again, Brian?
No, thankfully, it's not, mate. The irony, that's what our English, that's what our the official home of Toronto Spurs is a great pub.
It's at the Scotland Yard.
It's called the Scotland Yard.
Do you guys need like a bump to the SQ, the swearing quotation? Because I mean, fuck,
we can all do it. Fucky, fuck.
Feel free to swear.
Yeah, we've gone past 10 minutes. So yeah, but I just wanted to give him a big shout out. So carry on. I'm just gonna go to the bathroom, and I'll be straight back.
Yeah. Was there more to talk about in that from a Conte perspective? Is there any other players you think? Quick question. And I know this is an obvious one about a player that most of us will be, for fuck's sakes, Dele Alli. It's just frustrating, right? Rez, I'll start with you with Dele Alli. Dele Alli, does he get himself back to some sort of form or weight of giving a shit? I'm so annoyed with this player. I've been like, it's been so long. I'm just like, fucking get out of here, buddy. What are your thoughts, Rez?
I don't know what to make of him, if I'm being honest.
I see him on fucking Instagram, and he's more interested in his fucking video games than he seems to be.
Yeah, it seems to be. I mean, he really dropped a clanger recently with that one showing him playing, I think it was FIFA or something, and saying, "Oh, at last, playing with some real pros" or something along those lines. And it's like, dude, you're not helping yourself. I've been saying it for a long time, and I don't offer this as a defense, if necessarily, more an explanation. I think there's something up here. Yeah. There's something up here that isn't right. Not in terms of it being necessarily an illness. I don't know, but
you know what I think it is, Rez? Just to chime in here real quick. I think what it is that it's too much too quickly. I think he got an opportunity at a very young age, and he took it, and then once he got it, he was unable to sustain it. And I just think that he didn't know how. He didn't have the tools, right?
He comes from a difficult background in that I think there was no. I mean, again, I'm not advocating the idea of the nuclear family or anything like that. I'm just saying he didn't have the right parental figures around him to necessarily provide him with the grounding. There was also the incident in which he was broken into his house or something like that as well while he was in there. There's been stuff that will
shit with his girlfriend apparently was a problem last season or 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, all of this stuff I think has had an effect on him, but he's not. You see, he's needed someone who will both put an arm around his shoulder but also give him a clout around the head as well.
Is Conte that guy? Because I honestly think if there's one manager that can get the best out of a player like that, it's going to be Antonio Conte.
I think Conte has the ability to do that. The question then becomes whether or not Dele wants it.
Right? Yeah, and that's it. That's literally what comes out, because it doesn't look like it. It doesn't seem like it. And you see, even under Mourinho, who arguably has a similar sort of approach to motivating players, push them hard, make them uncomfortable, call them out when you want to get the best out of them. It just doesn't seem like he's interested in it. Like he would rather play FIFA than actual football. It seems to me.
That's the problem. And if this is the thing, if he thinks he's made it, he's in for a very, very rude awakening, because
he's young.
He might have made a fair amount of money, but he's still got the rest of his life ahead of him. And there will just come a point where people are no longer interested in someone who no longer plays football. Right? Playing Fortnite. Thousands of people, millions of people play Fortnite. What makes him any different?
Yeah, he's not special in that moment whatsoever.
No, he's only special because he currently plays football. And it's one of the things that ex-footballers often struggle with, is this idea that they're no longer special once they've left the game.
Once you're no longer capable because you're older and your fitness isn't up to the level, then you inevitably have to become a pundit or find another fucking career. And it's gonna be a wake-up call if he doesn't get his shit together.
Who's gonna hire him as a pundit?
Well, why would you? I mean, it's absurd. Johnny, what are your thoughts on Dele in that? Does Conte, is he the manager that would make Dele get his head out of his ass and realize like he's completely missing his opportunity as a human?
I think so. They're very passionate, the Italians. I mean, the way Conte goes about his job, it's all about passion, isn't it? It's maybe a bit more so than Mourinho on that fact. I mean, Mourinho got a tune out of him, didn't he? The first couple of months he was there
for a bit,
and surely, Dele spent all summer getting physically fitted, didn't he? So he might be one of his physical fitness is going to work in his favour a little bit now. Conte's come in, hasn't he? So
where does he play though under Conte?
I don't know. I was just thinking actually when we were saying that, what is his position?
What's his position? Like
if
he plays 3-5-2, is what it there's the three in the midfield. Those three players have very specific roles. If you watch what he did with Inter and the three midfielders in their roles, there was there's the 6 who's going to sit at the base. And then there's the 8 who's going to box the box, and there's the creative. Which one is he? Obviously, we'd assume he's the creative midfielder. He just hasn't shown any sort of reason to think that he's valuable in that position.
I think he's proved this season he can't play in the 3, hasn't he? In Nuno's system, as the third of the 3, he can't do it.
Although he was on the left of that 3, and that was a 4-3-3, which was not necessarily great either way.
Conte likes to play 3 up front as well, doesn't he? Like the central man and then 2 wide players. He's not going to play up front with Harry Kane there. He hasn't got the pace to play in the wide areas, has he? And he's not going to play in the centre midfield in the 2. It's going to be Skip, Højbjerg, or Skip and Højbjerg and one other, isn't it? He's not going to play as a 2 with one of those guys. So there isn't a position for him in this team, is there?
No, really. He has to do something really special, I think, like special in training, and push himself to a level that is beyond even what we've seen so far. I think what he did previously was there was a bit of luck involved in the timing with coming from MK Dons and getting into that side with Mauricio Pochettino as the manager, and the system we played, it really, really suited what he was going to do. And that as soon as you take a creative midfielder behind him, like a Christian Eriksen, out of that conversation, he doesn't really offer a heck of a lot else.
No.
Getting into the box late.
Can I add one?
Go ahead, Rez. Yeah, for sure.
One thing I'll say is that another quality that Conte has is that he has the ability to adapt players. So I think if Dele stands any chance of resurrecting his Spurs,
it's going to be under Conte.
But it won't be in the position that we've seen him before.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because I think the key here will be whether or not he can be turned into
goalkeeper.
Conte can utilize goalkeeper. Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, if you listen to some things like my friend Josh thinks that Galini's got to be goal, so who knows? Maybe Dele in goal. But big shout to Josh. But the thing I'll say is that I'm not saying it will happen. I'm not saying it can happen, but I'm saying that if it were to happen, it would probably be with Dele playing a different position to what we've seen him play before. And if there's a manager who can adapt a player to play a different position, Conte will has that quality
for sure.
So I think we need, right now. I agree with what Johnny's saying. There's where do you put him?
Where do you play him? Yeah, I mean, it's confusing. Even in that, when Nuno came in and you put him on that left side of a three of a midfield three and a 4-3-3, I was just kind of going,
it didn't really work.
What? Like that is not remotely good for what he is good at. He's good at getting into the box. He's good at getting on the ends of creative moments like that. Like he recognizes situations. That's what he was good at. And then if you're not offering that, if you don't have those situations, he flicks a trick.
There's a lot of instinct.
I think that's how he plays. He does play with instinct, and that's sort of his thing. It's just, I don't see anything for him in the squad at all at this point under Conte, unless Conte, like you just said, Jens, Rez, that he finds a different role for him, and that Dele reacts. Reacts. This is the thing: getting a player to do something that's that different than what they're used to doing, and then being able to do it well. You have to be a fucking magician, and maybe Conte is a magician. No. But I don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't think
he's a magician. I think he has the same approach that you get in military situations.
Yeah,
the way that elite and amateur sports people do well is just by doing the same thing over and over again until it becomes instinctive.
Rinse and repeat.
So it's the bigger question. There are two questions. One is, does Conte want to do that with Dele? And the other question is, will he have the time to do it with Dele if he wants to do it?
Yeah, and is there like a player that's at the squad already, or a player that isn't, that he knows he'd be like, let's just go buy this guy because I know he can do it, and this guy is going to take way too much work. Why the fuck would I try? It's problematic. Jens, your thoughts on that, the Dele situation? I'm also going to go to the facilities, but Jens, go ahead.
Okay, then I'll have my Dele say.
Yeah, I used to think he was absolutely. Well, now I'm talking. You might all go. You might all go down the fucking toilet. So, no, I used to. I mean, Dele was absolutely amazing, but I'm not sure if it's just me who's noticed. If he doesn't do anything within the first 5 seconds of getting the ball, then he just slows everything down. I think he needs to be more confident with his instincts, with his tricks and his flicks, and that seems to have left him, unfortunately. I can't see any way back for him, to be honest. I have a feeling that he will go to maybe go abroad and probably tear up abroad, or maybe go to another team in the Premiership. I can't see any of the top four wanting him now. Someone mentioned in the comments he used to be worth about 80 million about 4 years ago. We'd be lucky to get 20 for him now. I think it's a crying shame. I don't know if you saw there was a picture of him and Conte earlier, with Conte like explaining something or listening to what Dele was saying. And the caption was, "Oh, right. So if I press square, circle, cross, and triangle, that means I get past the second level in Fortnite."
Oh, mate. So I've had this for about a year now. I can't wait to get out of the club. I would take 10 million to get him off the books now, because for a few reasons. Mainly, if he then switches it on, it's like, well, where have you been for the last 3 years? Yes, he's lost Eriksen. Yes, but when a lot of people lose a star player, the attitude should be, I'm now going to step up and take the mantle. I know they're different positions, but you then become that star. And he's done this. But the other reason I want him gone is, forget what he does on the pitch. For me, he is the core of the poison and the shit that's going around this club with his attitude. And the sooner his attitude is gone, like we said, we got rid of Sissoko and Aurier, and we know what they were doing or what they were saying. But Lamela, whether you like him or don't, you can guarantee if he was still there, he was not one of those people with the bad attitude or shooting shit about the club. Whereas I think Dele Alli and what he's doing off the pitch is so much damage. And the longer he's there, this is going to continue where the new players are just going to get seeped in. And this guy, he turned it on with Jose when he first came. That brilliant thing he did in the West Ham game when he was on the floor, the goal against Manchester United, and then he disappeared again. And there's too many reappear and disappear. And I'm going to touch my cap because I don't like the manager, or I'm going to go to Dubai and get a six-pack because obviously having a six-pack is essential in a football team. Yes, having some muscle is good, but he's just too far gone. I actually liken him to, with his contracts, I think he's another Adebayor. I think he'll go to another club, get a couple of big contracts, get the big one, and then disappear. He had the world at his feet and was literally had everything. Like, he would have been one of the first names on the England team sheet, certainly one of the first names on the Tottenham team sheet. And look how many people have surpassed him just in England, let alone Tottenham. And I just cannot deal with it. I will never, ever sing his song again. I don't care if he turns it back on. His attitude sickens me. And I don't want those people with those kind of attitudes at the club.
That's the one good thing about the structure of the club now. With Paratici staying, when Nuno went, the damage that Winks and Dele and people like that done, Paratici knows about it. So if it had been a complete regime change, all those guys would have got another clean slate, wouldn't they? And the new manager would have had a look at them all. But with Paratici staying there, he knows what they've been doing behind the scenes, and he's obviously, I think he's already making plans to ship them out, isn't he, in January? So
that's
one
organizational.
Paratici is probably the best thing that's happened to Spurs in a long time. It just, even just to what in the short period of time he's been there and what he's going to be capable of doing, that obviously Daniel Levy isn't capable of doing.
Well, the thing is as well, and it comes down to whether Paratici has got now authority to say for these players, rather than the stupid evaluations they've been given, like Winks for 40 million.
This is the actual value of a player.
This is the value, and if Conte gets this value that he could put this money towards these people, then that's what I'm going to do. Because if we got offered, because you got to remember, Dennis' contract's running down. I don't know how long he's got, 2 years, whatever. That's true. If someone offered 25 million for him, I would snap your hand off.
Absolutely.
Off you go. We only paid 5. All right, we've paid him a lot in wages.
And he's done a lot for us.
Yeah,
but
we got the value that we're going to get out of him, right? And then it's time to move on.
Exactly.
Right now, in terms of cost benefit, selling him would not be that much of a cost. I mean, there wouldn't be a huge amount of benefit in terms of money either. But
what's his value? Do you think, Rez? Like, what do you sell Dele Alli for now? Like 30 million?
Right now, I would say if you want to maybe sort of twist the knife a little bit, 25 million.
Yeah.
If you want to sort of try and get maximum value out of him. To be honest, there's a lot of players that in the summer I was saying, if someone comes in for a free bid just to get them off our wage bill and out of the club, I'd have taken it. Now my attitude is slightly different because I think Conte might be able to get a tune out of
things
some of
he
those
can do that others wouldn't. Yeah, for sure.
But listen, if someone wants him on a free, I'd sell him on a free right now. I would. Okay.
I think the Aurier situation showed us that they're prepared to do business differently, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just bomb him off, get rid of him, even though he's got a year left.
Yeah. You know, because we've got to come to the point where, I mean, listen, this is my biggest, the center of my criticism of Levy is that decisions have got to be made according to footballing considerations, not financial ones. Keeping a player because you want to make money off his transfer is
not even just his transfer, but his who he is. Like Dele Alli has this kind of like thing about him. Like there's sales over and above just what he does on the pitch.
Well, Shane says a great thing as well. What we've got to be careful when we sell these players is obviously the homegrown.
Of course.
We've got to obviously.
That isn't even a thing though. That homegrown rule thing. I've looked into that. It isn't. Is it? We don't really have an issue there whatsoever. It's a pseudo problem.
And Shane Black's next comment
the youth team is for.
I would take him in. I think he'd be brilliant. First of all, our set pieces. immediately.
Oh, yeah.
We're certainly missing a player who can take set pieces. We can't
after the Celso's corner.
let's Celso's corner. We can't take a corner kick.
Going back further than that, even Ericsson was crap.
Ericsson had like a season where he was good at free kicks, and then then he was crap after that. It was absolutely absurd.
And Kane should. I mean, Kane and the word free kick shouldn't even be in the same country as each other, let alone the same pitch.
For a guy who spends like most of his time for a guy who spends a lot of his time like practicing after training sessions, and like that's what he's known for. He's not practicing that clearly.
Why is Eric Dyer not taking them? Eric Dyer is not a bad
and he's terrible at them. Like why I wonder why players like the obvious ones of Giovanni Lo Celso, who's supposed to be have this like ability.
He's a technician. He's supposed to be
a technical player who's supposed to be able to put the ball where they're supposed to go. How do we not have how does he even Sonny? I think Sonny should take free kicks in those situations over most of the other players that stand up to take them. Why isn't he standing up going like, I could place this, put me in the let me take the free.
Human Son on
that's what I said, just Sonny.
Because on the Spurs
Sonny should be taking free kicks over anybody else if you're looking.
I think it's because his mate Harry says I'm taking it.
Yeah, that's right. That's 100% right. And Harry is, they're going to have the power in that situation.
Well, now Conte's here. You won't be afraid to tell him you're not taking it.
Yeah, Conte will be like, you're taking the free kicks because you're the best one at it. Fuck off with your expectation, right?
Exactly. So what was next on the hit list?
The next on the hit list is fitness, and I think fitness is the some of the things that Conte is implementing. No mayonnaise, no ketchup. No sauces on anything. He is ruthless when it comes to getting players to recognize that like these are the things that are affecting what you're doing on the pitch. It's great to see. I fucking love it. I think that this is what Pochettino did initially, and I think the problem with Pochettino, what happened with him is he had the same players for too long. He wasn't able to cycle through them and maintain the same expectation of what they're supposed to do on and off the pitch. Conte's come in and he's looked at the thing and he's just looking at all the players. He's going, no, none of that. You guys, this is not. You're all fat. He literally called a bunch of them fat. I fucking love that. I don't know what you think.
I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember when Ramos came in.
I was just about
to say Ramos was similar, right?
Tom Huddleston.
Yeah, I was literally going to say that.
Yeah,
he helped me so much. He told me that I shouldn't have ketchup with my chicken, and I was like, "What kind of fucking chicken are you eating?"
Yeah,
if it's fried chicken, fair enough, but
it's not just like that. He also said on an interview after that as soon as Ramos left the training ground, they all went to their lockers and brought out like tomato ketchup sachets and did whatever.
I'm just waiting for Tanguy on the training ground to have like ketchup packets fall out of his pocket.
With Ramos.
No, it'd be vinaigrette, wouldn't it?
Ramos didn't really know the language. He didn't come in with a great CV, and I think a lot of those Spurs players were fuming because of the way Martin Jol was sacked. Because Martin
Jol was
absolutely
fantastic.
Loved,
the players loved him.
And to bring him in, but when you see Antonio Conte say this, and you look what Antonio, and I hate going back to this, and I've mentioned this, you just have to look at Arsene Wenger and what he did. Like the Arsenal players said when he came in and said none to all of this. Yeah. All the players were like,
they bought in it.
No, first of all, they're like, what the hell is this guy doing? But then they said, Ian Wright said it famously on a load of places that after 3 months, and you got to remember, Ian Wright was getting to the latter stage of his career then. He was like, I felt fitter and healthier than I did in my prime.
It works.
He's got
the work. You take sugar out of it. Take sugar out of the equation, right? These are athletes. They're the way that their energy release needs are met are different. Right, you can't just keep burning sugar for these people. It's biological, right? And this is a real indictment of Spurs. That it'd be 1990ish, so it's a 30 years or so, 25 years after Wenger came along and essentially revolutionized a lot of the science behind football in this country. As a club, we are still indulging our players' wants in this fashion.
Just to chime in here quickly, Rez, just to chime in here if you don't mind. What I think is important to recognize as well is that Conte came in and he talked about the stadium and the training ground, and he said specifically, it's really great, but maybe it's too great.
Yeah.
You know, these players are spoiled. You know, they're spoiled. They're being given too much. Like Lucas Moura has said on a few occasions, like, it's a great place to work. Of course it is, because you fucking have everything you want. It's easy. It's an easy place to work.
Well,
and I think that's going to be key for these players to get past this like cushy. I work for Tottenham On Tour, this Premier League club with all the best resources and all the great stuff. I don't actually have to perform at the highest level. I have to perform to some extent to stay in the league, but I don't have to do enough to be great. Right. And that's where Conte has come in and been like, you guys are, this is bullshit. You're getting given way too much. It's way too easy.
You guys have all seen the video shorts, haven't you? The Spurs TV throw out, the sort of little games that they play and stuff. Now, I to be honest, I really enjoy watching them. Right, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, I do as well. I mean, it's our club, right? They're mildly entertaining.
But it could also speak to. Listen, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have fun at work. Okay, a workplace where you can have no fun is awful.
Yeah,
but at the same time, a workplace in which you're always having fun is just as bad.
There's fun and then there's performance.
Yeah,
you have to like balance those things, right?
And he turned around and said, we have to suffer, right?
Yeah,
and I think
he said that, right? Conte did.
Yeah, I don't think they've suffered enough in the right way over the last 3 years or so.
They've had it easy, Rez. It's been easy for them. They haven't had to work.
Absolutely,
they've have all these like great things, right? It's almost like you're better off to be in a shitty training ground or in a shitty dressing room where you sit on hard pine and your ass hurts and you're like, I got to get up and go and run. You know what I mean? Like you need that grit. It needs to be hard. If it's not hard and it's simple all the time, you're cushy. You're just having a laugh. You're just making your wage.
On top of everything else, fine. You suffer for what? Say 15 years of a career. And then you go off and enjoy your millions, right? You can have fun at the end of your life. Right, suffer now, right? Because there are people that rely on your suffering, if you like, for some pleasure and some joy, and they pay your wages and they support your lifestyle. You suffer now, and then when your suffering is finished, you can then go off and enjoy. They are still suffering, right? So it's that pleasure pain principle. You have some pain, then you have your pleasure. So for now, knuckle down, do the work, by all means have a bit of fun from time to time, but understand you are there to perform hard. And I'm hoping that that's what Conte will be getting, or some version of that, into their heads.
Yeah, absolutely. Jens, quickly to you, Conte he's instilled again, we're talking about the sort of the fitness issues. All the players, there's 15 players who've gone on who are playing internationally. He's literally said to them, he's given them a regiment, like another regiment over and above what they're going to get from their international management and squads. That's fucking great. I think. What are your thoughts?
Brilliant.
What are your thoughts on that? Like, I think that's amazing.
I think it's absolutely brilliant. He's. I'm not sure I've ever heard of another manager who's actually done that.
You know what it is, I think, too, is that he's come in. Sorry to interrupt, Jens, but I think he's come in because he normally has a preseason. He's never come in mid-season. He's like, how do I get them to the level I need them to be at? Which is like, it's key for his system. Like, you need to be high pressing, running like a fucking madman, and intense. And if you're going off in training with other people, are they going to be training at that level? If they're not, you need to do this too.
Yeah. And I'm not 100% sure what happened with Nuno, but it really did seem that our fitness levels, I suppose, we were all used to Pochettino's fitness levels, and it's very taxing on players. And I think that's why, because we didn't refresh the squad. That's why
burnout in the squad.
Yeah, the burnout happens for sure. And that's a massive part of it, isn't it, Johnny?
This sounds really good, but I'd just like to say just a little thing on the diet bit. As a little story from Chris Waddle. He said that he'd scored a couple of goals in midweek, and Terry Venables had pulled him aside, and he said, "So Chris, tell me what your pre-match ritual is." And he says, "Well, I go down the pub. I have a couple of pints of Guinness, pie, chips and peas. Then I go home and have a kip, and then I go to the ground." And he said, so you have a couple of pints and a pie, chips and peas? And he said, yeah. He said, is there any chance you could take the whole team with you next time?
Oh, what a quote. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
He was, yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Johnny, what's your thoughts on the fitness?
It's good, isn't it? Like we just touched on there when you're having a cigarette, Brian. I think the original core of that Poch squad had a burnout, didn't they? When they got to the Champions League final, he ran them into the ground.
This is a good show from Jimmy.
Because we weren't refreshing the squad, and he didn't have new players hungry, to learn his ideas and come in and help. I think the whole squad kind of burnt out, didn't it? And it needed that kind of Mourinho era, didn't it, just to take stock. And now we're ready to go again, aren't we? I think it's the right time with the new players like Skip, Romero, Sonny. You're always going to get a professional out of him. Like we said about suffer now and be rewarded later. That's what Sonny's dad says to him.
Exactly.
He won't even let him have a wife or a girlfriend, will he, till he's finished his football career? So there's plenty of time for doing that when you finish playing football. So his whole life is dedicated to football, isn't it? That's what they've got to be like these days. They're professional athletes, aren't they?
Yeah. They are paid ridiculous amounts of money, right, to do something that most people would love to do. Now, I'm not so strict or draconian to suggest that they can have no fun, right? There is plenty of opportunity for it.
Yeah, it's just timing. When do you do it?
The minute you step through the gates of whatever club's training facilities you happen to be at, your entire existence has to be about performing, because you are condensing. Let's say someone starts work at 18, or let's say 16.
Yeah, your career is like this. Yeah, like in this space, right?
Exactly. That's 50 years most people work. You are condensing 50 years of work into 15 years, right?
If you're lucky, 50. You're like, that's a long career.
Absolutely. After that, you're off to something else. I'm talking about elite level players.
Yeah, for sure.
So when that happens, it's not just, I don't want to moralize, but ultimately think about it, do the best you can for yourself. The better you do, the more money you'll make as well.
Yeah. Make the best out of the short period of time you're working, right? Like,
exactly.
If any human said, you have an opportunity to work for 10 years in total, your entire life, and never have to work again, and you can make enough money to live off of that.
Yeah.
How hard would you work?
16-hour days. You have to work 16-hour days. Anyone would take it. Absolutely. And that's what they need to do. That's what they need to do. Maybe not quite so, 100, Victorian disciplinarian attitude. I'm sure there can be some softening of it, but really, this is your existence for a short period of time. Then you can go off and enjoy the fruits of it. And while you're doing it, because there are people who are relying on you, very emotionally in a lot of places, there's also the question of whether or not you owe them that effort at the same time, and not feel that you are above hard work.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes into sort of the age of some of these players too, and when they're put in this position. If you think about Dele Alli or players like that, when they 17, 18 years old, they come into this situation where there's a massive expectation. They try to meet it. They don't really get, most of the time, or arguably often enough, get taught. Here's what is going to happen.
How great they are.
Yeah, when this goes down, what are you going to do, and how do you manage it, right? They've got management, they've got family around them, but those people also don't know what the fuck they're talking about most of the time.
There's two things that add. So first of all, it's like when Harry Redknapp was there, he said, listen, I don't care what they do in the summer. For 9 months, they need to give me everything, and they get a 3-month holiday, or let's say 2.5 months, where they can go out to the best hotels, the best private planes, whatever, and do what they want. And then in the last part of it, you need to trim back down ready. So it's not like us that have jobs and we have to be at our best 12 months of the year, all year round. So they have the time to go out and let their hair down when they're on their holidays, like we do when we have a job. And the other comment I was going to say is just like Jamie said about the what happened with Poch, from what I understand, is after the Champions League final, the players that threw him under the bus literally went to them and said, listen, we are doing this and there's no reward. There's no carrot. We're just chasing the carrot.
It's just the stick.
And it's exactly. And why are we doing this? Just to get nowhere. Whereas now with Conte, there is the real hope.
Yeah.
If you look at his CV, because when you look at Poch's CV, let's not get it wrong.
No, it's reality.
He did incredible at Spurs. There's no doubt whatsoever.
Yeah.
But he still hasn't got it over the line. Oh, I think he won something in France, but I mean Whereas with Conte,
he won the League Cup
with Conte, and also what didn't help again is like he said, we didn't freshen the players. So there's no freshening up. There was no okay, we've got to stay fit because this guy's here and he's going to be after my place. So it kind of ran its course because they were just like, we're doing this, we're slogging our guts out. And at the beginning, they all bought into it and like, yeah, let's do this. We're fit with this, and we could see how
there's a unity in the squad,
exactly.
and like
but when that
we haven't seen that for a long time. That unity,
when that started breaking,
the handshakes down, and all the sort of like
exactly. So
these guys are mates.
So when it comes to them letting their hair down, they have plenty of time. They have plenty of time to do it, and when they do want to do it, they can do it with the finest of whatever they want to have.
Absolutely.
So they got to do that. But yeah, it was definitely with those double training sessions, which let's fair play. So what you do two sets of 2 hours, and now you got the Spurs hotels. It's not just at the training ground where you just sit in the lunchroom or play pool.
It's cushy still.
You can go into your hotel room, play on your PlayStation, or do whatever.
I actually think Conte's training sessions are going to be way more difficult than what Pochettino did. Like it's going to be levels. Like we're talking about this guy, he goes into every fucking club he goes to and wins shit immediately from a club or a team that is relatively, like to some extent, struggling. Chelsea finished 10th the season prior to him winning the league. Juve were 7th prior to him coming in with the league.
Into a 10th.
Like this is a manager that comes in and goes, I'm going to show you how to win, and then he literally has done it every fucking time without like there's never been a scenario where like Conte failed.
Quick question though.
He gets it right.
Does anyone know how much he spent with all these teams that he
nothing? He's actually spent fuck all. His actual net spend is lower than Spurs net spend.
His average net spend has been 45 million.
45 million. It's really low.
Then you've also got to look at that on the other side.
But he also leaves because of that.
Yeah, but no, the other reason is he gets to sell the players that he wants wants to get rid of. So it balances the book.
So he's actually the perfect manager for Spurs because his net spend is like basically the same. He's like, fuck off. I don't need these players. You get out of my hair. I'm going to buy these players, and they work out. Like he's exactly what we fucking need.
He actually really does work very well for Levy because the thing is that if he comes in and the team does well, obviously the value of every player will go up if they're successful.
Yeah.
So you can then sell if he doesn't want to play, you can sell them on, bring in another player without having to spend a huge amount.
Exactly.
If you wanted to use those terms,
it's fucking brilliant.
So the net spend stays low, but we're selling really expensive players. Levy's going to love him.
So talking about this,
absolutely true, Rez.
I'm just going to bring this question up, and we'll start with Johnny from Luca, who is a great supporter of the channel. Which is, with the hectic fixture list facing us for the next 2 months, is it a good idea to have double training sessions?
Absolutely. You could see in the Conference League game and the Everton game, his imprint of his style already coming across, couldn't you? And that's 2 training sessions he had. You could see us moving the ball quickly first time, couldn't you? Passing it,
one touches.
So you could see Conte's.
It's immediate, wasn't it?
So it was immediate. That's the sign of a good coach. So it shows the players are buying into it. I think Ali Gold put out today, and he said that the players apparently are loving the sessions he's putting on. They're enjoying them.
Really?
He's obviously he said
they're excited about the directness about it too, the honesty. They're like, here's what we need to do. It's very straightforward.
This is why you
and explaining why they're not being picked, for instance.
Each player, I didn't pick you because of this, and then the player goes, okay, I need to do that better, and then they have to try to, and if they can't get to that level, then Conte goes, you tried, but you're still not as good as this person at that job. That's
so vaffanculo.
I love it. I fucking love it.
Esatto.
So
in answer to Luca's question, this is the thing. What you'll see with conditioning, I wish there was a coach among our little sort of family who could confirm this. I'm trying to think if there is one. Anyway, so the thing about that is that when you've got Brian got it.
No, I totally got. I had to confirm it. But
no, big up to Stells. The issue here is that basically when they come back from out of the off season, they will go through conditioning at the beginning, and right at the beginning apparently it's really, really hard because conditioning drops off really quickly after you stop doing it regularly. But so you take about 2 weeks to build it back up. If in our preseason they haven't had that build up properly, and we saw that they were, other than the Man City game, there was a lot of sluggishness in the squad. Even now, even though we're partway through a season, him doing that conditioning work with them will still be building them back up to a peak that they haven't reached yet. So I think that will avoid burnout, even though it's being done pre-season. So I think, or mid-season, I think we're okay on that score. I reckon it's going to be of benefit if we're being, rather than being.
He's got sports scientists. They as long as the rest periods and the recovery periods are, and they're going to be, aren't they? Because they know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
So before we get Jens's comment on it, first of all, I want to big this guy up because literally on all my Twitters, on all the Ryan is always there. So Ryan, first of all, thank you so much for all your incredible support, and I can see Matthew Collins in there as well. So big up. But yeah, do you know what? I've said it before. With those three, and we know it's 3 fitness coaches, I've got a feeling that each one of them, as good as they all are going to have like their key attribute. Like one could be recovery, one could be coming back from injury, one could be. So with these 3, I think we're very, very lucky. And let's face it, if they had done their jobs to begin with, they may not have needed double training sessions. So if you need to get to the fitness that Conte wants, you do it. And let's face it as well. When we had Poch doing the double sessions, we didn't really suffer that bad. Yes, we got Toby who got an injury. It wasn't that many injuries during
at the beginning of it.
At the beginning, we didn't.
We did have some struggles
towards the end, though.
Towards the end, but that's because we didn't invest and he couldn't rotate.
Yeah, because it was the same players through the same fucking thing over and over again.
You look at. I mean, every time I think about our fitness in the last few minutes, I remember that game when we were playing Swansea and we won.
We used to come back from a goal down almost every game and win the game, like for a good couple of seasons. It was
exactly. Like
3 goals.
Stop. That Swansea game, I was going absolutely crazy. It was 1-1. It weren't on Sky, and I was just sitting down talking to my wife and family. I had Sky Sports News in the background, and then they said 2-1, and I went yes, and then 3-1. I smashed my because I was going mental. So, but I honestly think that having these fitness coaches and double training sessions are a godsend. What about you, Jens?
Hello. Oh, I think it'll be brilliant. As I said earlier, the fitness under Nuno didn't really seem to be there. I'm not 100% sure if it was the system or the way that he was playing, and not all managers go the route of everybody has to be super fit, but I think the people who want to reach to the top, the players have to be able to run for 90 minutes. And I'm really excited to see if we can see what we saw, as you were just saying, under Pochettino. I think that will be absolutely brilliant. I'm very excited for the 3-5-2 as well, or the.
I think it's going to be fantastic. I think we have the right players, Jens, for that system, right? Like,
I'd like to see Bergwijn step up a little bit. I'm not sure he's going to be able to do that. I have a feeling he might be one of the ones who's on.
I think he's going to suffer. He hasn't been good enough for me. But this is a Antonio Conte who makes all the players who you think aren't good enough much better. Exactly. I do want to just quickly chime in and say hello. Say hello to Bob Spur, Bobby. What a fucking panel beauty, style panache, sex appeal class. So fucking what if there's none on show? Thanks, Bobby. I love y'all the same. Well, Dago and Tad more. Big ups, lads. Bobby, just a shout out to Bobby too. He, if you guys watch the intro of our show and you'll watch the outro of our show, the video portion of it. Bobby did that. He fixed the Nuno part of it. We had Nuno in it previously. We now have Conte in the beginning of it. So shout out to Bobby. Thank you for the work you do, brother. You're a wonderful human, despite you being a complete fucking prick. So piss off. But love you anyway.
But you know what you just said about Bergwijn? I think
Bobby loves him, doesn't he? Bobby loves Bergwijn.
I think there's a player there. Do you know what? He started playing right back or right wing back under Nuno, under Jose. But he has to do it in a more defensive manner, where we know he's more attacking. I think he could be. I still think there's a play there. If we look at the whole time he's been there, he hasn't even been able to play 7 games consecutively in the same position.
Yeah.
So I find it hard to judge him because he's picked up. I mean, when Nuno played him when he was 50-50 against Rennes away in the first game in the Europa Conference, why are you playing a guy that's rated as 50-50 before Chelsea and Arsenal? That's like a no, what the hell are you doing? But I honestly think there's a player there, but he needs 10 games consistently. And then you're like, right, okay, he either is or he isn't.
I think he's the next Victor Moses and plays right wing back.
He might be,
and makes Emerson Royale like that. They compete for the job there. Like I just think that's perfect for him. Like
what's he actually good at, though, Brian? If you look at his attributes, what would you say as key attributes for him? Because I can't think of anything he's actually good at. He can't cross, he can't pass, he can't dribble, he can't shoot.
He can't dribble. Look what he did against Wolves. I mean,
he can dribble. He can dribble.
That bit of showboating deserves a new contract.
He can't shoot, Johnny. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
So you know what it is as well. If you look at it when he first came, he played well against Man City and obviously he scored that goal. Then against Villa, when we beat them 3-2 just before the COVID pandemic broke out, he set up the penalty. He was buzzing around like a madman. And he did do bits and pieces. And he looked good against Man City. In that 3, when it was more...
Is it enough, though?
No, but you can't... Listen, you can't judge a player... You can't judge a player unless he's had a consistent amount of games in the right position.
But players get consistent amount of games because they're good enough to get.
No, that's got to do.
It's mentality.
You got to earn it, right? Like, you got to earn the position.
Exactly, Brian. You've got mentality. He's got to take his chance, hasn't he?
Yeah, like when you get an opportunity, you got to be the best version of yourself in that moment.
And he's got to stay fit.
He hasn't done that.
He's got to stay fit. Like he's tearing trees up at Holland again. He's back in the Holland squad and doing well. I honestly think...
I do think he's a player that Conte will make better.
Exactly.
If he is in a scenario where he gets that opportunity under Conte, because there's other players, I think, in the squad that will get a chance before he will. But if he's given that chance, he is a player that Conte can improve for sure. For sure. Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, guys. I think we've covered everything tonight. It's been a pleasure to Shelf Side Spurs.
Give yourself a plug.
Who wants to do it? Who's the best?
The man of the moment.
Who's the best?
Our lawyer.
One fantastic channel. Love to have you guys on. You guys have been brilliant, all 3 of you. Fantastic. Thanks for being here. Tell everybody where they can find you.
So you can in the pub. Yeah, if
that's a good spot.
Yeah, you can find
me there too. Might not be the same pub, but it's a pub.
We're all in different pubs. Yes, and then we sort of rotate.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be here in a bit,
and I'm not going to Scotland Yard. I've had enough of that.
No, we'd love to have you there.
So Shelf Side Spurs show, hosted by the marvelous Johnny Einstein. You generally find us Thursday or Friday between 7 and 7:30, depending on if there's a European game or not. Not doing one now because of the poxy international break.
Fucking annoying, isn't it?
Sorry. We're quite eclectic, pretty anarchic. We talk about very, very odd things sometimes, like for instance, whale semen has cropped up.
I need to know.
I'm sorry, what?
What I need to know is obviously we can all go off piste, but how the hell did you get there?
I can't even remember.
We don't know. We don't generally know.
That was the thing that you had on your wall or something, wasn't it, John?
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't it something that you got? Was it you or was it someone else?
Was it?
And something. It wasn't.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a whale.
Oh,
it was a cow inseminator.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, cattle inseminator.
Right.
Yeah.
Cattle inseminator. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So we get stuff like that. We get pyrotechnics.
My weapon.
Oh no.
Kev has the most insecure sort of frames with things on his wall that just fall down all the time.
In midstream.
Jens basically blows everyone away with his knowledge of Spurs, and he even beat you, Brian. Even with my assistance.
I need to come in on that. Like I said, and I said it before. When we did this, Jens got questions like,
"Oh, come on! You had one question from 1913. Come on,
whatever." And then my questions were, "Who pre-1900 made their debut against
One question.
You know what?
Was there like a foreign bias there? Like he's British, he should know better.
No,
and then there's
no.
like this Jens kid from fucking Denmark. What does he know about Spurs?
I think next time I'm going to come on the quiz and I'm going to come bloody well prepared.
One of Brian's questions was what was there in Naybet's middle name, wasn't it?
Yeah. There came a point where we had to change the scoring system because with the remaining questions, there was no way that Brian could catch up. Right? We don't know where Jens is getting it from. We've asked him to show us his living room.
He's cheating. Jens is cheating for sure.
He's not. There's no whiteboard. Either that or Susie can put away a whiteboard faster than anyone on the planet. Right?
Easy, Tiger. Oi, easy.
Right. Okay. But yeah, so what you're seeing now is a bit like what we get on SSS. So yeah, come find us between 7:30 Thursday or Friday, depending on if there's a European game. We've got some other great guys on there. Jens obviously, Nick, Gaz, Kev. We get Kev's crack.
Kev's crack.
Maybe we'd be lucky to have one of the two Brians on there. Would be a pleasure soon.
Yeah, both Brians.
You're both on there, weren't you?
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, we've been on before. It's great. It's a great channel. So it'd be lovely to get back on for sure.
Can I also plug another channel that I'm?
Please do.
I'm blessed to be invited on occasion. That's Spurs Asian TV with Eugene and Jamie.
Yeah, Eugene's great.
They're fantastic. They did the Sunday show, a show on Sunday, and a midweek one as well. Big shout out also to Bob Spur TV, who's invited me onto his show.
Piss off, Bobby.
Josh, the Tottenham guy. There's so many fantastic shows. Colin with Talk and Ball. I was on his show last night. Tommy Talks Ball as well. Seriously, the community out there is absolutely fantastic, and I've got to put massive love out to everyone out there who comes and supports all of us. They really are, wonderful, wonderful people, and it's just great.
The growth of the Spurs community on YouTube in the last year and a half to 2 years is spectacular, and you guys massive part of it. So what we're doing massive as well. Just
I think
it's a pleasure to have you guys
listening to Lee Dixon and Roy Keane slagging us off all the time, aren't they, Brian? So they like content where they're going to find honest opinion and
reality essentially. Yeah, for sure. Jens, Rez, Johnny. Absolute fucking pleasure. You guys are spectacular. We're definitely going to get you on again, and would love to come on your channel too. Odera Facer Facebook group announcement to that. Make sure you go to Facebook and you like and subscribe to that. Going to be a massive conversation there and in connection with what they're doing. And we'll be back. Monday. Tuesday.
Tuesday.
We're doing Tuesday. We're going to do a regular Tuesday podcast, and we're going to do a regular Friday Two Brians as well. And
there's more shows in the offing.
We've got a bunch of other stuff on the go.
We had our first official board meeting today. When I say board, I mean the two of us just together in the same room. Talking about different content. Yeah, literally.
Basically, there's so much
thinking of different content that we want to bring out and new shows and ideas. So there is a lot to be coming in the coming months from us, but our staples have always been a weekly podcast, and obviously the two Brians when we were on
Friday nights.
We're getting back to doing that, a regular podcast, and Tottenham on Tour, the two Brians every Friday. So just keep an eye. And like Rez said, the Spurs community is absolutely massive, and we really is like family. Like people have come together who
it's fucking brilliant. It really is. It's absolutely brilliant.
It's like I had the pleasure of I haven't met Jens yet, but we're going to sort this, and hopefully you'll be in Canada one day soon. I met Johnny briefly for the first time at the Man U game. Yeah, I got to meet him face to face.
Nice.
But I saw Rez a lot. And
I was going to say you're a lawyer, right?
He is my lawyer. And
if you look on the videos, sometimes you can sort of see the edge of my head on the briefcase.
And he also came to
quality.
He was at a lot of the protests with me, and he also came out for our goodbye to London when we went out for a massive curry. So I spent a lot of time with Rez, and all three of them are top guys. So go check out Shelf Side Spurs.
Shelf Side Spurs, proper fucking channel, proper Spurs. Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Really, really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone in the comments, thanks for being here. Two Brians, Friday night. It's been a pleasure. Everybody, we'll see you guys soon. Have a good one. Yeah. Cheers.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Tour.